Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Zooming in a little bit more in depth on the traits and manipulation tactics of the covert narcissist. The covert narcissist is the counterpart to the overt narcissist, which is a personality disorder as recognized by the DSM-5R, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, that is utilized by mental health professionals to diagnose and treat various and sundry mental disorders. And the cluster B is described as a personality disorder. So people who present with narcissistic personality disorder, borderline, psychopathy. The narcissistic personality disorder is, in essence, a mental processing disorder where the individual possesses a very high and inflated sense of self-importance and a heightened sense of superiority to others. It's largely unfounded from intellectual or scholastic achievements or otherwise, yet they possess this sort of heightened sense of self. And you might think of it as an egomaniac, but really when it comes down to being a personality disorder, it's actually quite more profound and really damaging than just someone who might be a temporary egomaniac. The covert narcissist possesses these qualities, yet it's not like readily apparent. It's not someone who you would, put two and two together and say, wow, this person is an egomaniac. In fact, very much in the covert narcissist personality disorder, their outer shell, their outer persona very much belays this superior individual, this haughty sort of mindset that is captured, really underneath the surface, which they really kind of keep almost under a lock and key. And the covert narcissist also has a profound, another part of their disorder, which is a lack of empathy. So this is very important to understand how these two dynamics work together, because the lack of empathy essentially means this individual is not able to identify or understand or relate to the needs, wants, desires, or interests of others. So they're really not able to identify and relate with your needs. When we think how basic that is, when we think how very, very rudimentary that is, it's just the very basic part of being a human is having needs, having opinions, interests, dreams, wishes, all these sort of things. As much as even the basic needs, physical needs, communication needs, needs for affection, need for mirroring back and forth, just general, social graces, if you will. I mean, not even graces, we're talking really very, very rudimentary, very, very basic skills, which are, comprised now what is now known as, emotional intelligence. And these sort of combined traits really create the covert narcissist personality disorder. And really what typifies it from its counterpart, the overt narcissist, is that their exterior shell is so quiet and reticent and aloof that it is really, the guise is one of withholding. So in terms of someone who might be very talkative, and very kind of like over-dominate the conversation, it's easy to see and identify that they're dominating the conversation, perhaps, or you might feel that way because they're always talking or they're talking over you. You can't get an edge in a word in edgewise. Well, the covert narcissist will essentially dominate the relationship or dominate the conversation by withholding communication. So it's like the ultimate silent treatment, even though they never have, it's not necessarily a reactive sort of personality disorder. It's just how they operate on a day-to-day basis, really in all settings. Because, a narcissist is a narcissist. It's just, they don't turn it on and off in different settings. So if they present that way in the family, they present that way in the workplace, etc. And so, they really hurt and abused by withholding. And someone would think, well, if they don't communicate, I mean, what harm are they doing? It's because there's a pre-calculated reason to the withholding. It's like covering up. So it's a perpetual covering up of themselves, a perpetual covering up of information. Imagine if you were to just hide a bunch of information that you didn't want someone to see, things of that nature. For example, like some people might hide food from their spouse, or some people might hide, different, items from their spouse that they don't want them to know that they purchased, or, financial accounts that they hide. Well, think of it in the same way, in that the covert narcissist will essentially hide their opinions, their values, their viewpoints, their intellect. They will essentially, store that away so you don't find out about it. And really, you'd say, well, why are they hiding it? It's because they don't want you to understand really the superior sense that they operate on a day-to-day basis. And to communicate with you would be to test that, which would be to basically expose it and realize that this narcissist who, there goes my picture. We're going to continue otherwise. I wanted to have a nice background, but this is so important. Maybe I should put this back up. Bear with me here. Minor technical difficulty here on live TV. Really enjoy this painting. Wanted to put that up for you guys. Hold on, this is so important. Thank you. Okay, where were we? Well, we were talking about, the withholding. I love this stuff, right? You are not going to get this on your typical, 10 o'clock news. So, there we go. Anyway, I like the more casual setting here. How about you guys? Okay, anyway, so where were we? We're talking about the covert narcissist and how, sometimes, they're hiding their communication styles. Well, imagine that they don't want to be exposed for their viewpoints. It's so very, very odd. Maybe it's not odd to them, but if you've ever been intimately related with a covert narcissist and you really start to analyze and understand its impact, it really is quite a profound and interesting facet of human personalities, which I'm very interested in. So the covert narcissist is, and any narcissist and any psychopath, and I'm just kind of grouping those all together, their biggest fear generally is being exposed. What is exposed? We all got to get on the same terminology here. Exposed meaning you're finding the mask is cracking and you're seeing the personality underneath. So the covert narcissist, by keeping tight-lipped, by not communicating, by not, having discourse, communication of ideas, even basic ideas, basic greetings, basic, how is your day? Having, open discourse on certain values. You never really quite know where they stand. And it's because they keep it so locked up that they never have to share this with you, so they don't risk being exposed for their sort of superior sense. It's like, they're kind of like so smug and so kind of uppity that they don't even want to communicate with you. And it's very strange if this is a parent or a spouse, because this is your family unit. You're supposed to communicate there. It doesn't make sense just to not communicate. Why build up all these walls? So usually that is what's presented, in the psychiatrist's offices. There's this wall, there's this, we're not able to communicate. And it's because this person is so in control of their mask that they don't, and the kind of inner superiority that they feel. And then really, which is really deep down, is a sense of insecurity that they don't want to ever seem vulnerable or human. So, that's why these people get very embarrassed, like when they're sick, or they don't want to present, to their neighborhood that, that they have had an operation or something. They want to be like perpetually Superman or Superwoman. They don't want to be perceived as having any sort of humanness or even, human flaws. Like, they get they don't ever really sort of come down off of that pedestal, if you will. So, you know, it's very important to realize that it's this withholding that then creates that gap and that division between people. And then you realize that, you know, this person has been withholding for a reason, so you don't find them out. And oftentimes, if they don't want you to find out something, it's because it's an adverse reaction that you might have to them, you know, or you might, you know, just stop, you know, you might find out something that could impact the relationship and therefore, you know, maybe end it or hold them accountable, which they're not comfortable with. So it's all in that exposing. So if this indeed has occurred to you, you know, occurred with you, and it's been in place for a long time, realize that, you know, you've got some work to do with yourself now in terms of healing and getting regaining that self-trust and that self-empowerment and learning about the disorder. And then when you put all these together, it'll begin to make sense, and then you'll have some clarity and understanding and won't feel so pained by the lack and the void that this person has left in one's life. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.